Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at Mario's brand new makeup line. I jumped on this right away when it was available on Sephora's website late last week and was seriously debating whether I should have ordered it online or just, go to the store the next day to get the items. And because it was pretty late when it was available on Sephora's website, I couldn't call the store to check, and so I just opted to order. But it looks like maybe it would have been a better choice if I swung by the mall or swung by my nearest Sephora location to get it. Nonetheless, the items are here, and I am so excited to show you how I created this look and share with you my thoughts on, or at least my initial thoughts on some of the products. Before we get into looking at each one of the products that I ordered, just brief background about Mario. You guys may already know he is Kim Kardashian's makeup artist and has been so for 10 plus years. And over the years, there have been certain Kim Kardashian looks that I've felt very enamored with. So consciously, subconsciously, I think I might have picked up a few of those looks and applied to my own kind of makeup preferences. But realizing the techniques Mario does use in his artistry, a lot of it are fundamentals or techniques that the entertainment industry, fashion industry, I guess makeup industry in general uses for professional makeup artists. And those are things that I've learned during my time modeling. And that's why when he announced his collection and began to show each piece in greater detail, I was very much excited because he's trying to achieve products that are great for professionals, but also for beauty enthusiasts like yourself, like myself, who want to try different things and test our own creativity, but we just need some curated palettes or different products that we could use. So we need some like bumpers so that we can experiment and know we can create something impactful, something we enjoy out of it. So let's go over each of the items that I got, and once again, it was hard to pick because if I could have it my way, I'd pick one from each category, and maybe even in some categories I would get everything. But there are a lot of fall makeup releases, so I had to pick and choose. But we will go over each one of the items, and what's gonna happen is I have two eyeshadow palettes, so just right off the bat, I'll tell you that. And I think they deserve each their own dedicated video. So today we're gonna focus, in terms of demo, we're gonna focus on the Master Metallics palette. And in a different video, we are going to play with the other eyeshadow palette, which I will show you. And that palette is the Master Metals. We will do swatches today, but I'm going to spend some serious time to play with this, and we'll do all of that in a different video. Along with the Master Metals, I also got the mixing medium. Now the mixing medium, I've heard many people say or compare it to the Mayron mixing medium, and as far as the ingredients go, people have said it is the same. I haven't gone to verify myself, and it does sound like if you already have Mayron's mixing medium, you probably don't need this. But I don't have it, and so I just went ahead to order it. It also came with this spatula, and what you're supposed to do with it is in the Master Metals palette. This is actually a mixing tray, which you can remove. It's kind of cool. And you basically scrape off whichever shadow you want. Put that here, put a drop, maybe 2 drops of the mixing medium, mix it up, and then pick that up with a brush. It gives you this really amplified foil-like finish. So that's why I think doing this in a separate video makes more sense, because we can take a look at more colors, we can put different colors on each of the eye, and yeah, so we'll save this for a little later, but I will do swatches today. And the other palette, which I already told you in the beginning, is the Master Metallics. And you guys can see, to create these two looks, I did already dig into multiple of these shadows. And I think this color story, which is based on colors that you can find in our own bodies. So I thought that was a cool concept, but putting this together, and I hope through the demo I can show that combining a few of these, you can create a complete look. You don't have to have matte shadows or shadows of other texture to help you with anything. You can create a complete look just by using these shades. Now, I did use 2 matte shadows, but it was also more for demonstrating the whole concept of prepping your eye area for an eyeshadow look later on, because he did release these kind of like eye prep palettes that are 3-pan, and you know, there's a powder in there, there's a few different options in there, but the whole idea is if you prime the eyes and then put that light powder that kind of matches your skin tone, you're really setting your eyes up for you know, an easier experience when you apply all the other colored eyeshadows. Again, that concept is not unique to Mario, but it is a very common technique in or amongst makeup artists to kind of put in that beigey or just a neutral color fit for your skin tone as part of the prep. And from my experience, the makeup artists that I had worked with in the past, some of them didn't even want you to put on eye primer. They would just use that kind of neutral powder on top, and then they work everything else on there and it stays put. So I just wanted to say eye primer wasn't such a big thing some time ago, but I always use eye primer. It's worked well for me anyhow. And then the last product I got is the Master Secret Glow. This is inexpensive. It's basically a clear balm, and I have it on my face, or I guess on the high points of my cheeks, and also in the forehead. And I try to, the way I put it on or the spots I picked, I try to replicate what he showed in his mini masterclass videos that he shared on Instagram. It does make sense because when the light hits you, whether you're facing like this, ahead, but especially as you turn, you definitely want the light to come off of these areas. It gives your face more definition, and it's just very, very flattering because, you know, you apply the bronzer here, and then this is the light color, so it just kind of stands out around this area, a kind of contoured face. So yes, I had a lot of fun, if you can't tell, with applying everything on. So I'm going to do the swatches now for both eyeshadow palettes, but if you do want to skip ahead to the demo, I'll include timestamps below. We're going to start with the Master Metallics eyeshadow palette. The names of the shadows are Metallics 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. from 1 all the way through 12. So I doubt, you know, in the demo I try to talk about how this is Metallics 1 or 3, but for swatches I think I'm just going to apply my own descriptions to them. This is a gold, this is a pink, this is coppery, this is teal or aquamarine, you know, I'm just gonna do my best to do that. So I've swatched the first 4 shades on the top row here, and I want to point out that the gold and the pink are slightly different texture than the other metallics in the palette. I would say even though they're all metallics, some of them have a more glittery texture to it or finish and are probably more suitable as a topper. These two being pretty good examples here. So let me just put that on my wrist. You still get good pigment though, even though I just said they might be better as toppers. That's a good swatch. These are creamy metallics. This is the next 4 from the middle row. Smooth, very smooth. And from the bottom row. And then with the Master Metals palette, I'm going to swatch the shades. When I put them on my arm, I'll put them next to shades that I think there could be some similarity. It's not going to be exactly the same, but certainly this pink here and this bronzy shade, there might be something from the Metallics palette that is comparable. The texture on the metals shade feels sleek, whereas the texture, as I'm touching them from the Metallics palette, feels creamy. So these are the 5 shades. And I guess we'll start with gold and put gold right up here. And then the pink. Orange. And that coppery shade, put down here. All 3 of these here, I would say that coppery shade is closest to the one from the Metallics palette, but the golds and the pink, totally different. And then finally, the blue. And the last thing I want to swatch for you is the Master Secret Glow in Expensive. Here it is. Now, any sparkle you might be able to see on my finger, that's because I have remnants of the swatches I just did. But this really is a clear balm. And that silver you see, that silver background here, is the pan itself. So there's no silver tint, nothing to it. It's absolutely, completely clear. Let's head on to the demo. I'm going to start by applying a thin layer of this shadow onto my lids to just smooth things out so that when we apply the metallic shadows, it grabs on better. I do have eye primer on already. It's the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base, and this palette is the Viseart 01 Neutral Mattes palette. We're going to start with Metallic 11, and I'm placing that onto probably just the center of the lower lid part here, all the way through to the outer corner. We're going to pack that metallic on. So I think with brushes, or at least the one I'm using right now, this is the Sonia G Builder Pro. I have to go in a little bit more just to pack it in, because after this I'm gonna blend it out, and I know as we blend it out we're gonna lose some of the intensity. And just to show you guys what it looks like, I also put a bit on my finger and we're gonna add it on like this. And so I think with these metallic shades you can also apply it with a finger and then blend it out as well. And we're going to blend. Then we're going to take this bronzy shade here, and this should be metallic 3 if we're counting 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to add this onto the sort of inner corner towards the center of the lid. I'm going to use my finger to apply some on. I'm going to blend that upwards a little bit here. And then taking this pink shimmery shade, and I'm actually going to top that right onto the center to give it some dimension. And then going back to the 01 Neutral Mattes Viseart palette, I'm going to take this shade here, mix it in a little bit with that, and then we're just going to kind of clean this up a bit. And the idea of this really came from Mario's mini masterclass videos that he shared on his Instagram, because he does have this, was it a 3-pan palette, where you basically use it to prep your eyes for the eyeshadow look. You can replicate that to probably a pretty close degree by using your own matte shadows to, first of all, put on a layer of powder, set it on top of your eye primer, and then for any areas that you feel like there's a bit of harsh line, could I easily blend this out without accidentally intensifying any color, going with something really light and neutral that is a good fit for your skin tone, that's the way to do it, and that's what he demonstrated in his videos as well. Here's a look on the right eye. It's fairly simple. I use 3 shades from the Master Metallics palette to achieve this look, of course with the help of the 2 matte Viseart shades. Moving on to the left eye, I'm going to apply, this is metallic number 12, and we're applying that to the outer corner. This may not be a suitable brush. I think I have to work a lot harder. Let me try something else here. I'm gonna go back to the Builder Pro that I used on my right eye. It seemed to have worked well, so I've cleaned it off. We're just gonna use this brush again. Same thing, we're going to pack this color on. Now we're going to blend out a bit. And I've used a more pointed blending brush because I wasn't getting the shape that I wanted with the other crease brush. Now we're taking this green here and we're applying that to the center of the lid. Once again, we're going to blend out. Then we're going to take this champagne metallic here and we're placing that right towards the inner corner. And then, because we're at it, I'm going to put a little bit of this turquoise shimmer onto the center. This is the look on my left eye using 4 shades from the Master Metallics palette. I find that it was really easy to create a gradient using the shadows. I didn't need the help of a matte shade or something from a different brand or even a different palette to get the colors, get the shades to blend into each other well. So I think that does speak to the quality of the formulas and the whole thought put behind the palette. So I'm going to put on concealer, contour, foundation, and we'll come back for the rest. Okay, and so on the left eye, I'm going to use the green metallic that I have on here that's left on the brush, and I'm just going to add that below on the lower lash line because I just want some color there, but I'm not looking for anything too dramatic or smoky. I just want some definition on the lower lash line. And we're going to dip a small brush into this kind of beigey light cream color. And I'm adding that to my inner corner. And on my right side is where I want to smoke things up a little bit more. So I'm actually going to take this shade here. So it's not as coppery or bronzy as this, but I guess it's a lighter, slightly peachy shade. I'm going to go light-handed and I'm just going to apply right along here. And then we're also going to add that same creamy shade to the inner corner. We'll pop some liquid eyeliner on both of the eyes. I'll add some mascara and then we'll really come back for the finished look. This is the finished look. Taking a second look at everything, I think I like the look on my right eye more. I just like how that coppery shade and then the purple kind of blended in and complemented each other. And you guys saw I really didn't use too many different shades to achieve this. And I always appreciate that about a palette, especially with metallic textures. A metallic texture, or at least a good one, like from the Pat McGrath palettes, you can pop a single shade of that on there, blend it out, and it would still look really good. And I kind of expected that going into this palette, even though I've never tried any of the formulas. I just expected good quality metallics. You can do that. You can actually even do that with like e.l.f. metallic eyeshadows. So there was definitely some high expectations there. What I didn't expect is how creamy the shadows felt, but they actually adhere to your lid well. In fact, they're not that easy to blend out as you might imagine for a creamy metallic. This is in contrast to Natasha Denona's metallics. Her metallics are creamy, they swatch forever, some of them certainly do, and they are easy to blend out and they have this high intensity as you blend it out. This formula, I felt like I had to pack on the eyeshadow first, and I really didn't have to work too carefully in terms of fallout. As long as I did the one tap on my brush, whether it's on the side of the sink or I dabbed it onto a tissue or just kind of flicked it with my finger, that would actually get rid of any excess. There was nothing that kind of fell into my face. And to show you what I mean is, I really went into some of these shadows. You would think I'd use this a few times by kind of like the indents I made on a few of them. So unless you really dig in with your brush, you don't actually have to be too conscious with any fallout. So I think that's really great. And there is something here that gives you, I guess, a lot of control, because if you want an intense look, you do have to pack the eyeshadow on, but it's nothing extremely difficult for somebody who is not trained or who's just starting out with, you know, their first couple of palettes and just want to have some fun. I would think very quickly you'd just be able to pick up, okay, that's what I need to do to get a more intense look. And you could always go in with a finger as well to pack that on and then blend out too, always an option. I just wanted to highlight the difference in the formula as I've tried it, because Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, their eyeshadows are made in Italy as well. Same thing with this palette. So both of the eyeshadow palettes made in Italy. The mixing medium and then the Master Secret Glow are made in the States. And for the Master Secret Glow, I really do like the effect you can achieve with it, that very glass-like look. I can achieve this with Natasha Denona's Diamond and Blush palette, you know, the large 6-pan. But having this, you can just pop it on. And imagine midday, you want to touch up your makeup and you say, I feel like I need a little bit of glow because my makeup looks kind of dull. Some of it has oxidized in the past couple of hours. You could probably just pop this on to the high points here and get a very glass-like effect. I am very curious how it'll wear through the next couple of hours. Does it transfer? Because it's been on my face for a good 20 minutes at this point, and it does not, or it has not dried down, and I don't think it will. So I'm just curious how long it will kind of stay in place. Will it spread? Will it just kind of fade away? We'll see. I'll give you an update on that in my next Did It Work video. For my final thoughts on the Master Metallics palette, I do think in some ways, and I know that's not the description that Mario gave to this palette, I feel like this is kind of like a metallics fundamentals. If you don't have a metallics palette, this would be a good place to start, because there's a lot of fundamental colors or colors that are flattering on many different skin tones, and you can certainly make it work for yourself. You've got everything you need. You've got brow bone highlight, you've got inner corner highlight, you've got some shades that are, if you apply them light-handed, they're good toppers here. And then you've got kind of all of this here to create gradients, or if you just want to go ham on one shade and blend it out, you can do that as well. You can work with any matte shadows you have and create a look out of it too. So I need some more time to play with the makeup and let it wear to see how I feel about the parts of the collection that I did get. But so far I like it. I like the thought put behind it. And the packaging too, it's quite simple. Because I have this on my vanity, I'm just gonna hold it up. This is Wayne Goss's eyeshadow palette size, but also for his face palettes. They're kind of similar. You know, it's the same idea of how they're just this kind of sleek surface. This has a metallic finish. This is more like acrylic, that plastic, but it's hardy and it's sturdy. And there's something that's very functional about it that I absolutely think he had the professional makeup artist in mind, rather than putting forth products that really wow you in packaging, or to give you a very luxurious or high-end feel to it. He's giving you more of a solid, high-quality packaging with functionality built in. So this is the vibe that I get when I'm holding the palette and when I, open to use it. There's something to be said about how easy this is to open and for it to stay open, and then for it to close. It's kind of no fuss, no clasp, it just shuts. And that theme has stayed with the smaller kind of singles size, I guess you could call this. So I look forward to the next video on the Metals palette. If you have questions about any of the products I mentioned today, let me know below. I will try my best to answer them. I am learning about the brand, about his artistry as I'm using the products, and as I kind of let it speak for itself. So I'll definitely share with you more of my experience in the next one. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.